Well, the women's 1500 metres, it is a crowded field. We've got 13 athletes and we've got 2 women setting the pace. And those athletes, as the caption says, Chesby and Nanyando. Well, I think certainly whenever you see a competition with 2 paces, it shows you that the field, they've certainly got an appetite to go out hard. And the target for this one is to try and get sub 4 minutes. And we'll meet a lot of the competitors as we go along the line, but the most excited competitor is Kipyegon, Faith Kipyegon. She's tiny, Tim, isn't she? I think she's even smaller than me. She's the double Olympic champion, 2016 and 2021. And it was a tough competition to win, as an Olympic title should be, particularly this year with Laura Muir and Sifan Hassan as well. But she was fantastic in Tokyo, as she has been for most of her career. So we are expecting the pacemakers to go out in 64-second laps. So Chesby is trying to go to 800 meters. And then Winnie Nanyando from Uganda, she's trying to go to 1,000 meters or 1,100 meters if she can. And the caliber of the pacemakers, they're great athletes in their own right. Winnie Nanyando's ran a 1:58 800 meters. And she's also a sub 4 minute 1,500 meter runner herself. But as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap straight away. And Kipyegon is the athlete who's bringing up the race proper. She's in 3rd place there as one of the pacemakers. Nanyando just checks her watch.
It's a really good field in depth, Jenny. 6 athletes in this field have broken 4 minutes for 1,500, bizarrely, including Nanyando, the pacemaker you've described, who's been tasked with taking them to 1,000 in 2:40, which is exactly, and she has a little check over her shoulder there, exactly 4-minute tempo. And if Kipyegon, who is leading the pack, can be anywhere near that, then she will undoubtedly go under 4 minutes. That is the target. The meeting record from Lemlem Hailu last year, 4:06, is pretty vulnerable. But it's not a foregone conclusion that Kipyegon will win this and have an easy race. Hirut Meshesha is on her shoulder there, the 20-year-old Ethiopian. She's a 3:59 performer from Chortsov, actually, back on the 20th of June. And is tracking Kipyegon at the moment. But I know what you mean about Kipyegon being an astonishing athlete. She has that speed endurance, which has put away Sifan Hassan again and again. And I can't help but think back to Monaco this year, where she just destroyed the field. And when Sifan Hassan was full, oozing confidence, the Dutch athlete was powerless to stop Kipyegon maintaining her form and kicking away over the final 200 meters. They're almost in touch with the pacemakers, Jen, so it's reasonably quick.
Yeah, if we're just looking at the clock now, that's 2:08, which is just passed, and they were supposed to go through 800 meters in around about that time. So I think the pacemakers have done nothing wrong. You know, the field weren't following them at the tempo. They've kind of kept 5 meters in front of them. But this is the real danger now for a lot of the athletes, that Kipyegon is already at the front. It's been relatively slow by her standards, so forget that 4 minutes. We were looking at 2 minutes 40 at 1,000 meters, and we're just approaching 2 minutes 40 now with 50 meters shy of that distance. It's going to be a real burn up, Tim, over this last 400 meters.
Winnie Nanyando staying at the front for a long time. She was due to be there until 1 kilometer, and that's what they've just passed. Now she moves wide. Kipyegon has been gradually winding up. They were closing up on Nanyando as they approached this final straight for the penultimate time.
Well, just looking at the time right through the bell, it was around about 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and everyone's still there. And we've talked about the threats that may come from behind. Meshesha is one of those threats. She's run fantastic this year, 2 great races on the Continental Tour. Let's not forget the Ethiopian athlete, although I can't see her there. I was expecting Gebra Breeza. She's run absolutely fantastic. She was 4th in the 1,500 meters at Tokyo, but that 200 meters there, from 1,200 to 1,400 meters, 1,100 to 1,300 meters was around about 30 seconds, and Kipyegon is putting her foot down with 100 meters to go. No one in the world has been able to live with Kipyegon over that finishing straight, and you can see why. She's working really, really hard there to the finish. 4 minutes has gone. She's taking the victory. How fast will it be? 4:03. Oh, 4:02.41, so sub 30 seconds, Tim, for that last 200 metres and sub 60 seconds for the last 400.
And I think she had another gear in reserve if it was needed. Yeah, they allowed her to totally dominate. It was almost a doffing of the cap to her ability, her dominance through this summer. And that's a very comfortable win for Faith Kipyegon. I guess if I was going to be hypercritical, I'd say why didn't athletes like Hirut Mashesha try and lead through the bell instead of allowing Kipyegon to almost play the sort of Pied Piper and dictate the way the last few hundred meters was run, get in front of her, mess up her race plan, because you're not going to live with her over the last 300 when she's gradually changing gears through the last 300, getting quicker and quicker. You'd have to put in a double kick to get past her because she's accelerating every so often, and that makes it almost impossible to get past the Olympic champion. It would have been a tough, big ask anyway, but nonetheless, you've got to be a little bit more ambitious, I think, sometimes, than to just sit in behind somebody who you know can outkick you.
Yeah, it's very difficult when you're racing against someone of the caliber of Faith Kipyegon. She's just been so dominant for, a number of years now. And quite like you said, Tim, I mean, how do you beat her? Do you take it out? Do you try and take the sting out of her? But she's going to be able to come back. Sifan Hassan tried to do that in one of the earlier meets of the season, and Faith Kipyegon could just stay within striking distance, and when she chooses to strike, she can come past anyone. So really, really difficult competitor to beat. But I think you're right, Tim. I think it was one of those races where everyone expected her to win. They gave her so much respect, maybe too much respect, but hey, she deserves it. And that race certainly went to the script.
Well, Sifan Hassan beat her in Florence earlier in the season when Kipyegon ran 3:53, a national record, and then a few weeks later she sharpened further and ran 3:51 to beat Hassan in Monaco. So they have had their clashes this summer, and it has gone both ways, but Kipyegon generally is expected to win. Well, that's the women's 1500. The next event on the track is the men's 200 metres. The field events, of course, are continuing as we watch these track races.